they have a sergeant of arms find you. If they're not there within 10 minutes and they can't find you, they go to your room, pack your bags, and send you home. And tell the district, get yourself another governor. That's how serious they take Rotary International training. Of course, they pay for that training. And what they're really saying is, if Rotarians are paying for you to be here, you can at least come to the training. That's what they're really saying. They're really saying, you're not here at your own nickel. I remember my year as governor, we had 2 governors that decided that they were going to cut out in the afternoon and go play a round of golf. And when they came back, their bags were packed and then were sent home, and they told their districts, find new governors, because we don't believe that this is what you sent these individuals for. So they take their training seriously. And by the way, it's great training. So I can't even imagine missing one of those sections at the International Assembly. And all of you will have an opportunity if you move on before your clubs. Today we're going to be talking about membership, okay? This is Governor Steve's #1 objective, and it should be. It should be his #1 objective. What are we known for is, by the way, don't raise your hands. Damn, people are raising their hands. We're not in school, so just shout it out, and we're polite enough that 2 of you speak at the same time. One of you just acquiesce for a minute, and then pick up after the person speaks, okay? So, what are we known as for as Rotarians?
Service.
Service. Service. What else? Above self. What?
Polio.
Polio. The eradication of polio. Most people, you tell them, Rotarian, yeah, aren't you the people who are trying to eradicate polio from the face of the earth? What else?
Dictionary.
Dictionaries. In this state, we give out more dictionaries than any state in the union, in Utah. I love giving out dictionaries. I remember the first time I gave a dictionary to a kid. I lived out in West Jordan. We were in a pretty nice neighborhood, but right underneath our neighborhood, we had 235 homes. They all went to Heartland Elementary School. A lot of Hispanic kids in Heartland Elementary School. I went down there and I handed a dictionary to this boy. He had his name in it. He looked at me and said, "Is this my dictionary?" Now remember, this is a 3rd grader. A 3rd grader. He says, "Is this my dictionary?" I said, "Well, is your name in it?" He says, "Yeah, my name's right there." This is the first book I've ever owned. Those are the Rotary moments that really convert us to, and gives us passion. But my favorite dictionary story is the one, because I can relate to this. My favorite dictionary story was a kid, when I was governor, one of your clubs handed out the dictionaries, and he drafted a letter in his class. He said, "Dear Governor Atkinson, thank you for these dictionaries. It's made me a better spiller."
I got one of those last month. He was a spiller.
He was a spiller. It's great. I love it. Let's see here.
Kelly,
Yeah.
a politician in the last election, doesn't matter which party, said he was trying to get the proper name for terrorists. And he said, "Well, I'll tell you one thing, they're not Rotarians."
Thanks, Al, for sharing. That's great. Hey, why is membership important? Or is it? Why is it important?
Brings new blood.
Brings new blood.
New talent.
New talent.
New ideas.
New ideas.
More service.
More service.
Lowers the average age.
Lowers the average age. In some of your clubs, you know, somebody has a heart attack and the ambulance shows up, takes 10 people out of the room before they know which one had the heart attack. Okay? So, yeah, it brings younger people. Membership, again, you'll hear me say this throughout this. This is Governor Steve's #1 goal for this district, and it should be. It should be. Because what does this chart tell us?
We need Donald Trump.
Take a look at it. That's membership since 1999 in this district. 1999. So you look at it, there we are right there, 1999, 1,850 members. Then we went on a slide, okay? When I look at that number, I'm telling you, I look at that number, I'm going to tell you real directly. That means a lack of leadership. That's a little brutal, isn't it? It means a lack of leadership. It means a lack of leadership in the district. It means a lack of leadership in the clubs. I just call them like I see them. For 35 years, I ran a membership organization. Rotary is first and foremost a membership organization. You may want to argue with me, and that's, this is America. I'm used to people arguing with me. I served 10 years in the Utah State Legislature as a Democrat. I got a lot of people arguing with me. Okay?
I object.
I object that you served. That's right. A lot of those too. So you can see that slide that took place there. Ugly, ugly. Not as ugly as this one though. Look at that one. Okay.
Kelly, there's a correlation between that downfall and the market and the economy. We could rationalize that that was the case, but we know better.
We know better. And I'm gonna talk to you right now.
I could also rationalize that my wife joined in 2007.
Yeah, that's right. See that? What happened in 2007? Right there. His wife joined. Yep, and that made all the difference. What happened in 2007?
That was the first full year of the Lehigh Club.
First full year of the Lehigh Club.
So we did the convention.
Did the international convention. More exposure to Rotary. More people enthused. More people excited. More people out talking about, hey, we're putting this great conference in. Come get involved. I need your help. Do you know most international conferences are put on by 5 districts? Governor Jerry, 6 districts. 7 districts. Utah, 1 district, 1,760 members. Put on one of the best international conferences. One of the best. If you go to international conferences and you say you're from Utah, I guarantee you, your badge, when you wear your badge, you say you're from Utah, I guarantee you that you'll have at least 1 or 2 people saying, oh yeah, you're from Utah? I went to your international conference. Best conference ever. Best conference ever. Little 1,760 one-member district put on an international conference, and by the way, we did it 3 years earlier. We were cut 3 years on our planning because we flipped with New Orleans. This district is an awesome district. This district's leadership is recognized throughout Rotary. It drives me nuts that some of your clubs don't recognize the leadership you have at the district level. And you know who you are. It's kind of like, my club is a blank Rotary club. And then there's District 5420. This is a great district. We have some great leadership here. We have some awesome leadership in this town, and we have some awesome clubs overall. But what we have to focus on if we're going to make a change is this trend. So here we are. We started growing right here. We started growing right here. Then we took a dip. This was the end of my year right here. Then we took a dip. It was a small dip, but we took a dip. And then we started growing. And then we went into this major slide. Major slide. Now, I told you that for 35 years I represented an employees organization. It's a membership organization. That's what I did for 35 years. When I joined that organization, they had 2,000 members. When I became the executive director of it, we'd grown to 4,000 members. Out of those 4,000 members, I recruited 1,250 of them as a field representative. 1,250 of them. As their #1 recruiter. I know a little bit about membership. I've spent my whole life in membership. I'm going to tell you this. You might want to write this down. If you do business today, the way you did it yesterday, you're not going to be in business tomorrow. Things are changing too much. Too many of your clubs, you could have walked into your clubs 10 years ago, or you could have walked in your 20 years ago, and your club would have been doing the same thing that you're doing today. When I say the same thing boring meeting. The same formality to it. I've gone to a Rotary Club in this district as a past district governor, sat at a Rotary table, and not one person at that table, not one person said anything to me. How are you? What's your name? Where are you from, Don? What are you doing here today? I haven't seen your face around here. Not one person at that club, at that table, said one word to me. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a past district governor, and nobody comes up to me and says anything to me, what happens when somebody that's just coming in and look at Rotary comes in, Jeff, and says, hey, I'm here to check this thing out, and no one says anything to them. If you do business today the way you did it yesterday, you're not going to be in business tomorrow. You've got to look at your Rotary clubs. If your Rotary clubs are losing membership, and many of your clubs are losing membership, I'm telling you right now, I don't give a doggone if you have your old members saying, but this new president's really shaking things up, really doing things different. I'm a little uncomfortable. Make them uncomfortable because your membership is going down and you are dying. In a membership organization, there's one pure test of how strong your organization is. Your membership going up, you've got vitality. You've got your membership growing down, you're dying, you just don't know it. And if you want to preside, presidents, if you want to preside over a club that's dying, and you want to be part of that death march, that long death march, because it's a long death march, especially if you have a lot of members. You go into a long death march, then just keep doing what you're doing. Okay? Right here, Penny came in. The only reason I mention this, because I want to brag on my wife. The only reason I mention this is we sat down and I said, look, if we give clubs tools, we can turn this around. And I had people in this district say, you can't turn this around. Look at that drop. This is the worst economic crisis in the history of this country. Didn't anybody tell you that, Kelly? Didn't anybody tell you that, Penny? Right here, look, 2010, these people aren't going to join Rotary. You can't grow Rotary. It's the worst economic disaster in the history of the country. They'll never pay that out. They don't have time to go to lunch. They're looking for jobs. I mean, I heard every friggin' excuse under the book. But we put a membership program in. And I'm telling you how many clubs work that membership program religiously in this district. It was canned, it was presented, it was put together. All you had to do was go back and work it. A third of the clubs. And that was the results. A third of the clubs worked that program, and we went for the first time from 1747 up to 1768. Now look what's happened today. We're down at 1745 and we're at 1740. Now in fairness, the 1740 drop from 5, Jerry, that's the least amount of drop that we've had. I know this because I love Rotary, and I don't have a life. I look at these numbers, and I look at that, and I say, how far are we going? We usually drop about 60 members. There's two things that are really important in this year, two numbers that you want to remember. Right now, in February, at the end of February, our per capita giving is $68, about $68 per capita. Last year, this time, it was $21 per capita. Great number. Great number, not only for the foundation, but I say a great number for membership, and I'll make that argument in a minute. Okay? Then, so we're 1740. I think we have a potential with what's going on to see a spike here and to start this line right here. Or to start another line like this and keep going up. We have that potential. But presidents, I don't care what Steve's goal is. I don't care what it is. You're going to make that happen or not happen. Because all the governor is, I've said this many times, it's a cheerleader and they can't even do the splits. Okay? They're just a cheerleader and they can't do the splits. Okay, so this is when we talk about membership, this is what most of us think about. Isn't that what we think about? It's like, I'm knocking my head against a brick wall. I mean, you work and you work and you work and you seem like nothing gets done. Well, let me tell you just a few things. Here are the handful of clubs that anytime during this presentation just say to me, shut up! American Fork, you can say to me, shut up! We're growing. You can say Cache Valley Morning. Religiously runs the program that Penny put in place, what I call the Penny program, what most other people in the district call the Penny program. Religiously runs it. Cache Valley. Park City Sunrise. You can yell out to me, shut up. Is Park City in here? Sunrise? Okay, they're not in here. Shut up. Springville. If you've ever been to Springville, if you haven't been there, one of the most unique Rotary clubs in all of Utah. And you understand why people want to become a part of that Rotary club. Especially if you're a drinker, you want to become a part of that Rotary club. But if you're not even a drinker, and I'm not, that's a fun club to attend. They have fun. It's fun to go there. Businessmen and women come to, no, I should say businessmen. They're still an old club. They'll have to wake up and have, but they'll come there and they really have fun. Tooele Valley religiously runs the Penny program. West Jordan, they run the Penny program. That's my club. Those clubs have had pretty sustained growth overall in the district. They have pretty sustained growth. So I don't come here from a club that I'm going to tell you, I'm trying to tell you how to grow membership. I'm coming from a club that has grown membership. Okay? There's 14 clubs in this district. 14 clubs, less than 1/3 of the district, that have more membership today than they chartered. Why do I say that? Because that's a pretty good litmus test. You ought to at least sustain the membership you started out with and not lose the membership. Here are they. American Fork, Bountiful, Cache Valley, Cedar City, Centerville, Heber, Hispanic Latino, Holiday, Kaysville, Park City, Sunrise, Spanish Fork, Springville, Tooele, and West Jordan. Those clubs have more members today than they did when they chartered, whenever they chartered. Okay? So, that's kind of an overview of the history of the district, where we are, why we have to talk about membership, why it is Steve's #1 goal, as it should be. Okay? How many of you want to be successful presidents? Every one of you. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I hope I fell today. I hope I fall down in the gutter. I hope I don't accomplish anything.
The computer's going to die.
Yeah. My computer's going to die? Oh, my computer's going to die. Well, it's plugged in. Why is it dying? Okay. Is that now? Did it go off?
Is the power strip on?
Oh, maybe the power strip's on. Keep me on the straight and narrow.
Do it again, click it again. Okay.
There you go.
There it goes. Okay. Thanks, guys. So there's 3 successful things that you need to do. These are the 3 things. If you want to grow membership in your club, these are the 3 things. Hold a great weekly membership meeting. Most of your meetings, I'm just going to be tough. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of attending of meetings. I do a lot of attending events. And I have to tell you, most of our Rotary Club meetings are boring. And the more formal they are, the more boring they are. That's just not from me. Look at your membership numbers. Ask yourself, why are people leaving our club? And if they're leaving your club, and I hear every year, well, I'm going to grow 25, I'm going to grow 50. And they do. They hit the number 25 or 50, but it's losing in membership. Hold a great membership meeting. I'm going to talk about that. Do great projects. And I'm talking about service projects. Service projects. And I'm talking about community service projects. One of the best community service projects that I've ever been involved with is witnessed, is one that goes on in Salt Lake. Salt Lake goes to the Lincoln School, underserved school, heavily dominated by minorities, and they read to kids. They read to kids. What you need to do when you do a service project, though, is you don't only invite your club members, but you tell your club members, go find somebody in the community and say, I need your help. I need your help. I need your help, Bruce. I need your help. We're reading to underprivileged kids. We don't have enough kids to do, enough people to do it. Will you come in?
I'm in.
You're in? Come down. Oh, it's only a half hour. It's just a half hour, okay? You come in. And then you get them involved in that service project or service projects over a couple of different times. And then you say to them, man, you ought to be a Rotarian. Can I sponsor your membership? We're not using our clubs do great service projects. We're not here today in a seminar, breakout seminar, talking about service projects. You know why? Dan, we're not doing that because this district has some of the best service projects in all of Rotary. We do service. We do it better than anybody else. We do a lot of service. We participate in a lot of different projects. We don't need great projects. You're doing great projects. We just need to make sure that every service project that we do in our community, every single one of them is a membership recruitment opportunity. Every single project, we ought to be saying, presidents, bring somebody to that project. Find them if they don't. Say this is a $10 fine at our meeting if you don't bring somebody. If you bring somebody, you get a $10 credit for a future fine. Okay? Make it a game. Make it fun. Meet or exceed your club's best foundation giving year ever. Why does that have anything to do with anything?
Shows commitment, participation.
Commitment. Our heart is where our money is. Have you ever heard that saying? Our heart is where our money is. If I give $100 to the Rotary Foundation, I'm going to be more committed than if I don't give anything. And in some of your clubs, you've got members that aren't giving anything. So I come to you and I say, you know, I was looking over our foundation sheet. I don't know what your situation is, but we like every Rotarian to give $100 every year. Maybe you're not in that position, but could you give something? What do you think you could give next year?
$100.
Thanks. Maybe $5. Maybe say, no, only $5. I'm not the person that gives the most money in my club. I'm a Paul Harris Society. I'm not the person that gives the most member. We have several major donors in my club. They're not the people that give the most members in my club. The person that gives the most member of in my club is a single head of household with 3 children. And last year she gave $26.50 to the Rotary Foundation. I know that because I'm currently the district foundation chair. She gave more money than all the rest of us combined. Because she gave the widow's mite. She gave all that she could give. She gave more money than anyone else. So it's not a matter of how much money. It's a matter of getting somebody to give some money to make a commitment. And when they make that commitment, they become a better Rotarian. Yes, ma'am.
I think you really said an interesting point too, where you go to the member and say, you know, we'd love to have your participation. That, although you didn't say it, that really implies that you know that member, that they know you, that you're on a conversational basis, that you have an interest in what they're doing. And it seems to me that's pretty important.
Could have said it any better. Shall I sit down and you come get this? Could have said it any better. Exactly right. These clubs, these activities in your club are going to make it. Okay, so how do you make a great Rotary meeting? This is a criteria I'm going to give you for your great Rotary meeting. Okay? Because this is about membership. I'm talking about membership. And when I come to with what I'm planning on doing this year, if you sustain it and support it, we've got to have great Rotary meetings. Every meeting has to be a great Rotary meeting, and you've got to personally take charge of it and ownership of it. Okay? So every criteria to your Rotary meeting needs to be judged on this. Did we make our club laugh? Did they laugh? Did they laugh? And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about, did they laugh? Did they have fun together? Did they, whether that's your horseplay, did they laugh? Red Rock. Is anybody in here from Red Rock? Red Rock, they do horseplay I have never laughed so damn hard in my whole life as when they do horseplay. I mean, they do, which is called our Sergeant of Arms. They raise money, but also they laugh. So did your club laugh? If you've had a Rotary meeting that your club didn't laugh, in my judgment, that's a failure. Because if I don't want to laugh, I can stay at work. If I don't want to have fun, I can stay at work and save money, okay? I want to come to a Rotary Club to get away from the office. I don't want a recreation of an office. And in some of your clubs, it's a recreation of your office. You're so friggin' tight, you look like Dave Martin of Martin Doors. Okay? You need to look at
He's a good Rotarian.
He's a great Rotarian. I've been in this house. I got lost in this house one day. Okay? Make members cry. And that's what I say. Make members cry. Move them. Create passion. Create excitement. Make them cry. Okay? And this is what Mike said. Make members feel important. In your bigger clubs, you've got a bigger challenge to do this. So let me tell you what I recommend in your bigger clubs. If you have a big club, I'm talking about a club probably of over 25 members. I would designate, you want every Rotarian to have some kind of important role to play. I would designate somebody at the table for that year to be there to make sure that every single person at that table gets greeted. Every single person at that table gets asked, well, what do you do? I haven't met you before. What are you engaged in right now? What are the kind of things you have? That person is kind of spearheads that. Now when the table takes over, they can shut up. They don't have to play any role. But every single person feels important. Another way to make them feel important is to ask them to participate in some way. You know, you might find that say, well, would you take just 2.5 minutes and tell us a little bit about your business? Remember, they're Rotarians. They come to a Rotary Club. Just say, hey, Steve, would you take 2 minutes and tell this room what you're doing here and what you do for a living when you're not here? Take 2 minutes. Get them involved. Make them feel important. Do not let anyone come to your Rotary Club meetings and not be asked about themselves or talked to or engaged. Jerry.
My Murray Rotary Club has gone back to the older half of the club, not the older, the longer term Rotarians, and asked them to take a couple of 3 minutes in the business session and even network without a fine. What are you doing? Where are you at? How can we help you?
Exactly.
The older ones, not just the new people do a classification, but
Exactly. Sugar House. Do I have Hal had to leave? I think a little early. Okay, Sugar House. I love Sugar House. They have a song. If you go to Sugar House, they have a song for their visitors. They have all their visitors stand up, and the whole Rotarians, with gusto, sing that song to you. If you haven't had that opportunity, go there. I mean, when you walk into that club, and they say, who are visitors today? Introduce them, Rotarians if you brought a visitor, or if you're just a visitor, stand up and introduce yourself. Then they ask the visitors to stand up, and then they have the whole club sing this song, which is a funny little song, and you feel like, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm here, they want me here. Okay, so when I talk about making your club different and interesting, some of you think it's like, and forgive this reference, but in my church we have what we call quorums. And in those quorums, we're supposed to talk about the welfare of the people in our congregation. And there's always the instructor that's going like this all during the quorum meeting, because the instructor wants to get in, the instructor wants to teach the lesson. Now I'm in a Hispanic ward that I live in, that Penny and I are on a mission on. And in that congregation, we spend 2/3 of the meeting talking about the welfare of the individuals in our boundaries and what we did during the last week to meet their needs. And our leader asked us to report. Too often in our Rotary meetings, we're so consumed with, we've got to have a speaker, we've got to have this dynamic speaker, and we can't. Rotary meetings are to teach Rotary. Rotary meetings are to inspire people and make people laugh. And if that includes a good speaker, great. But if you can't find a good speaker, don't put a speaker on just to have a speaker. Do other things. Presidents, those meetings, if it's me, I'm controlling that meeting. I am judging every single week. Did it make somebody laugh? Did it make somebody cry? Did we make somebody feel important in that meeting? If it fails that criteria, that's a failure. Fortunate, you've got some 52 weeks to improve it. So with today, that isn't really even hard. With today, with all the media that's out there, with everything that's taking place, it's not hard to make people feel motivated. And here's a perfect example of the kind of stuff that we do frequently in our Rotary. Can't find a good speaker in your little clubs, or even in your big clubs. Sometimes they're boring.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, nice to meet you. What's the act called?
Charlotte and Jonathan.
Charlotte and Jonathan. Okay. How old are you both?
I'm 16.
Okay. And you thought the combination would work. Whose idea was it?
It was our singing teacher actually. She thought it'd be good to try us out together, and we both sounded quite good when we sang what we did.
Can't judge a book by its cover.
Are you shy?
There's greatness within all of us.
I've always had sort of problems with my size since I can remember. And when I was in sort
If
of...
we're honest with each other, all of us are insecure.
And it kind of damaged my confidence quite a bit. When people would say something to me, it'd just take a little piece out of me in a sense.
I'm quite protective of Jonathan. Like, if I was there and someone
Rotarians are there to help the weak.
I couldn't sit there with my mouth shut. Before you make a judgment on someone, I think you really need to get to know them. It's not just
To make the strong stronger.
You've got to read what's inside.
Charlotte's been a really big help for me in terms of confidence and making me a better performer, and I really don't think I'd be going up on stage today if I didn't have Charlotte by my side.
And do you think you could win?
Yeah, together.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Here we go.
With your grace,
what he said right when the two walked out on the stage?
Just about the time you've seen it all.
Just about the time you think you've seen it all, making a bad day better. And that's what took place. That's what took place. Now, how hard was that? Every Rotarian could spend a little time on YouTube. By the way, your newer members love YouTube, but so I'm an old guy. I've got one foot in the grave. I enjoyed that. It motivated somebody, inspired somebody. When they walked away that day in your Rotary Club, they're going to remember that. And how did I connect that to Rotary? That had nothing to do with Rotary. They weren't there with Rotary badges on. I made it connect to Rotary by speaking over it. And every one of you can do that. And every one of you should have a Rotary moment like that some way in your club every single week, because I'll tell you what happens. If you bring an inspirational speaker, we had a speaker that came to our club that won 3 gold medals in the Olympics and the disabled games. Wow! I am telling you. I thought, what do I have to complain about? This lady is lost all the use of her body, was a probably destined to be an Olympic gold medal skier, had an accident in Sun Valley, and came in and said, not on my watch. I have a passion to accomplish something great, and I'm going to do it, and won 3 gold medals. 3 gold medals at one, this last Paralympic Games. She won a silver and a bronze when she was trying to train to get prepared to win the gold. Every single meeting, you've got to have one of these moments. Even if it's only 5 or 6 minutes, you have to have one of these moments. Why? Because Rotarians will want to come to you. It's like, I've had a terrible day at work. I need to get away. Don't make the terrible day continue after the Rotary meeting. Make them glad that they came to your Rotary meeting. Make them glad that they were there, right? Make them glad that they said, I gave up whatever I was doing to come here for just one moment, and I saw something like that, and I'm convinced that's what we're about. We're about changing the world. Okay, projects that make a difference. You want projects in your community. So the first thing, great Rotary meetings. Second thing, great projects in your community. Great global projects. Now, if you don't, if you're a smaller club, we have, what, 11 global projects going on right now, don't we, Jerry? 11 global projects. Any one of your clubs can put in as little as $100 and become a part of those global projects. I mean, who are the clubs that are doing the global project this year? Raise your hand high. Okay, just talk to one of these clubs. Look at them, talk to them. If you're not involved in a great global project. Why? Because as humanitarians, we want to change the world. We want to do something in the community. We want to do a global project. The best retention thing that you can do is get a member and get them involved. Okay? Projects that involve members and potential members. I do not, presidents, I'm begging you, don't go out in the community and do a project without taking someone, inviting somebody to that meeting. Don't do it. Invite somebody to do that. That's the best recruitment tool that you can have. People want to feel like they're making a difference in the world. I can talk till I'm blue in the face about membership. I can take somebody out and do a project like sitting next to a child and teaching them to read, and I walk away. We all know what service does to us, don't we? We all know what service does. Wow, we relate to it. We connect with it. It makes us feel better. There's a great man that one time said, if you want to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. That is so true. If you really want, if you're having trouble in your life, if you're having trials, if this economy is getting you down, go do more service. I've recruited people into clubs simply by saying, how's business? Business is lousy. Want to know how to make it better? Yeah. Come to this meeting. Come to this meeting. I'll tell you how to make it better. please, just spend an hour, I'm gonna buy you lunch. Come to this meeting. Come to this meeting, I'll tell you how to make it better. Foundation giving. We've already talked about what foundation has to do with growth and membership. Okay? Members in clubs must grow, members must be retained, expansion to occur. Those are the key components. Okay? Those are 3 key components. So this year we need to concentrate on 3 key components. Membership in clubs must grow. That's your clubs. Membership must be retained. That's your clubs. Forget about expansion. That's the district's responsibility. We'll take that responsibility on. We'll want to work with you on that. You don't have to focus on that. You don't have to focus on expansion. We'll help you expand when and if you're ready to do that. Okay, so this year, what I'm going to need you to do, I am not, residents, because you're at the 30,000 foot level. You've got enough to do. You're up here. What I'm asking you to commit today is you get me somebody at the assembly. You get me your best person, your most enthusiastic, your most dedicated, your person that is outgoing. You get me that person as your membership chair. I need a person like that. You send them to the assembly. You send them to the assembly. I'm going to train them on each of these projects. I'm not going to spend time today going through these projects. You're at the 30,000 foot level. I want your very best person. Your very best. I don't care what they're doing in the club. The reason I'm not going to be foundation chair next year is that Steve came and said, Kelly, I think you've proven in this district that you know something about membership. I can get somebody else to do the foundation. It's an important job, but you've trained a couple of people in that area. We've got a couple of strong people in that area. I need a strong person in membership. I need you. I said, but I haven't accomplished what I want to accomplish in the foundation. He says, I don't care. I need you. But I really want to finish through with this. I don't care. I need you. You're the person I need for membership. Wally.
John Hugo said, you know, we get in Rotary an average of 120,000 new members each year, and we lose an average of 120,000 each year. So the key to me is keeping those. And I'm fully convinced you can cut that loss rate in half. So I think, are you guys doing, you have specific things that you do to retain members?
Yep. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but the number one thing that you can do to retain members, the number one thing, have a Rotary moment. Make them laugh, make them cry, make them feel important every single minute. Judge your meetings on that. Did our club laugh? I mean, really laugh. Did our club feel an emotional moment? Now, some of us are criers. I cry, you know, at Hallmark commercials. Some of us internalize that. But you know who that is. You know who that is. Okay? You know, did they have that moment? Okay? Guest invitations. You've got a packet. This is how we're going to use this packet this year. I'm encouraging you to use those packets by doing this. How many of you have ever been asked about your Rotary pin in this room? How many? Okay, I wear my Rotary pin every single day. So Jeff, tell me about, say something to me about my Rotary pin.
What is that little thing you're wearing?
Well, thanks for asking, Jeff. You know, I wear this pin every day because it's really important to me. This pin symbolizes that I'm a Rotarian. A Rotarian, have you ever said to yourself, Jeff, have you ever really said to yourself, someday when I get around to it, I'm going to make a difference in the world? Have you ever said that?
I have.
Well, Jeff, today's your lucky day. There is a round to it. Now, next Tuesday, we've got a Rotary meeting. And why don't you come? We'll sit together. I will buy your lunch. I will buy your breakfast. I will sit down and have a Diet Coke or your favorite drink right next to you if you're not a morning club or a luncheon club. And I'll sit down and talk to you about how you can get around to it, to making a difference in the world. Would you take me up on that invitation?
I would.
Okay. That's how we're planning on using. You've got enough of these, John. That's South Salt Lake. No, that's South Salt Lake. Here, John. Oh, I'm sure glad. Whoa. Man, you know, I'm thinking, I've got like a 3-round tulips. There you go. Yeah. So I'm thinking, well, yeah, this is a great idea, Kelly. Okay? The other one is this approach. When you run into somebody, I'm at a store. I've had this happen. I've done this myself. I go into Walmart. I walk around. I look for the best cashier that I can find. I say to that cashier, Scott, thanks so much for servicing me today. You did this with such a great smile. Hey, do you think I could talk to your manager?
Sure, I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong. I'd just like to talk to your manager. You didn't think I would call him around her? So she shows up, okay? She shows up. Diane, you're the manager. What do you have to say to me? You've just been called to tell, what do you say? You're representing, big department store. What can I help you with? Well, Diane, fancy that you could ask. You know Scott, he serviced me today. What a great young man that guy is. That's great. You are to be commended that you have such great employees. I just wanted to tell you that today. You know, Diane, I'm a Rotarian. We need your kind of leadership in our club. And what I'd like to do, have you ever heard the saying that there's no such thing as a free lunch? Well, that's a lie. There is such thing as a free lunch. Here's a card. Here's where we meet. I would like to invite you to come to our club. We meet every Tuesday at noon. You show up at our club. You bring that card. I'm going to tell you how you can take your business and combine it with our club and make a real difference. It'll take an hour of your time, no more than that. No pressure. We're not used car salesmen. We're just going to have a great time, a great meeting. Would you be willing to do that?
Sure, I'll be there.
Hey, and that's Scott. He's a great guy. Give him a raise. You take just a few minutes. Now, I'm going to tell you what I do during the meetings. Because this is the biggest problem we have with membership in this district. The biggest single problem. Now remember, I ran a membership organization for 35 years. When I became the executive director, we were at 4,000 members. I had recruited about 2/3 of those members. My board told me, you've done a great job of membership. We don't expect membership to grow. We expect you to take care of these other things because we're at our maximum membership. And 8 years later, we are at 6,000 members. Well, my own board told me, we don't expect you to grow membership. I knew one thing about a membership organization. If it's going up, it's got vitality. If it's going down, it's dying. You just don't know. So, when you institute this program that I'm encouraging you to institute, or modify, or change, you're creative people. You'll probably have far better ideas. When you implement this program, you take that #1 person that you're going to get me at the assembly, right? Nod your head, yeah. You're going to give me a good person in assembly, right?
Yes.
Every single president, a great person in assembly. Then this is what I want. I want you to give that person in assembly every week in your Rotary meeting. I want you to give them no more than 5 minutes. This is what that person does. Hey, you know that I'm the membership chair this year and we want to have great members. So let me ask you, any members give out a free lunch card this week? Raise your hands. So one of you participate with me. Steve, raise your hand. Steve, tell me about the experience you had.
Well, I was talking to a guy the other day, one of my clients, and he seemed to be a pretty solid individual, and he talked about how he loved to do certain things in the community and support it. So I said, why don't you come join me and we can make that even better.
Great. Steve, thanks for following through with this free lunch. There you are, a Hershey bar. Okay? Every single person should get some little small reward in your club for talking about membership. Why are I doing this hokey little thing with tuits and I'll tell you why. Because it gives us an excuse to talk about membership every week, doesn't it? And we don't talk about membership. How many of your clubs talk about membership every week? Look at this. We're a membership organization. We don't talk about membership every week. We don't talk about it. In my club, my new president says this. She knows everybody in the room. It's a club of 29. She looks around the club, she says, any new members in the club this week? She knows there's no new members in the club. She knows everybody in the club. She asked that question. Did any of you bring any new members to the club this week? What is she doing? What is she doing? Say it louder.
Planting a seed.
Planting a seed. Somebody said simulating thought. Stimulating thought. So, that's what we need to do. You give me a person there. We're going to talk about, oops, I turned that on. We're going to go back here. We're going to talk about our potential membership visits. We're going to talk about our service projects and involvement. We're going to talk about consistency. But what I need is some kind of implementation of this program that we're talking about. And that requires you to make sure that you put in your budgets what?
Hershey Bar money.
Hershey Bar money, or whatever you're going to give as a small little gift. What else? The free lunch. The free lunch, the cost of the free lunch. The cost of the free lunch. Now, you can handle that in different ways. You can say to Rotarians at the beginning of the year, how many of you would be willing to buy a free lunch for potential Rotarians? How many of you would be willing to do that? Would you just raise your hands?
You don't like hand raises.
Pardon?
You don't like hand raises.
Yeah, I don't like hand raises. That's right, Jonathan. Thanks. So it's a very simple process. These are little details. They don't have to be. But now do you understand why I need a great Rotary meeting every week? Because I don't know when a new member is going to show up. And I'm going to get one shot at them. I'm going to get one shot at them. And when they come in, they better walk out saying, I felt something. There was a spark in me. What a great break. What an uplifting meeting. What an inspiring meeting. That's why your Rotary programs have got to be great. That's why when you're standing in those meetings, you're recognizing people for birthdays. And we'll go into this with your officers. We're going to give cards when people don't show up a couple of weeks. You send out a card, a handwritten card. Get a committee to write them out. John, you can hear, get a committee to write them out, and then you sign them. Then they're not there a couple of weeks, they get a card from you. We missed you, Bill. We missed you today. You didn't come. Or assign somebody to call them up on the phone and say, Jim Sargent, who didn't come to my club in 3 weeks. Jim, are you sick? You know, why are you on the club? We miss you. We miss you in our club. I didn't do that. 3 people did that. What do you think Jim felt that week? I was missed in that club. So often our Rotarians come, especially in your larger clubs. They're not missed. Nobody ever calls them. Never anybody talks to them. Nobody recognizes their birthdays or their anniversary. We're a freaking Rotary club. We care about people. We are in the people business. Let's invest some time in our own people, okay? So what this plan is going to involve is growth. It's going to involve retention. I'm going to propose to those officers when they come. Remember, I'm going to get about 3 hours with those people. Okay? That's what I'm going to get with them. We're going to teach 3 courses. Salt Lake does this. They have Rotary University. My challenge with Rotary University is it's too long. I don't think the average Rotarian wants to go to 12 meetings, although those 12 meetings are excellent meetings. They are, they're jammed. But I think that's like college. What we're talking about is elementary school. We're talking about 3 classes. When you get a potential new Rotarian coming in, you're going to teach them 3 classes, maybe half-hour block. They'll have the curriculum. The curriculum. When they come in, when you send me that great person, I'm going to give them the curriculum. And then they're going to find somebody to teach that. They're going to find somebody to teach 3 classes when those Rotarians come in. What is Rotary? What's the history of Rotary? And me and my club. 3 short classes, a half hour. Then they'll be certified. When they're certified, we recognize them. We stand them up, we make a big deal out of it. You know, Jerry's come to our club, Steve's come to our club, Sue's come to our club. We're so thrilled to have them. They just graduated from Rotary University, or Rotary Elementary School, or whatever you want to call it. They just did it. So that's the key component of it. Okay? We'll have a spread, we'll spearhead the new clubs in the new districts. There's what you need to do again. Send me qualified person. Okay? Here's the conclusion. This is what you want to do this year. This is how you want to be. This is who you are.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow.
Easy to follow.
First follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural.
There's your board.
His friends to join in.
That guy's your board.
Being the first follower, you stand out and you ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut.
That's
it's
me,
not
by the
two
way.
nuts. 3 in the crowd, and the crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers, because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So again, just to recap. Lone nuts, just recap. Yeah!
Was that the drinking club you were talking about?
That was Springfield.
That was Springfield. Just to recap, we're going to work on growth, we're going to work on retention, we're going to work on expansion. I've got to have great Rotary Club meetings, inspiring meetings that'll help us on retention. I've got to have great Rotary Club meetings that will help us as these new members come into your club and check your club out to walk away feeling that they're inspired. And I'm going to work with the people that you send me to build that program collectively. I'm not going to tell them what to do. I'm going to present a shell, and then they're going to work on it, and we'll have 3 hours to do that, accomplish that. That's why I need your very best person. Okay, President? Let me just tell you, if I could do any job in Rotary, any job in Rotary, if I could go back and be a president, I'd do it tomorrow. Everything that's great that happens in Rotary happens with that leadership, that lone person that has the courage to stand up and say, here's what I want to take you. This is what I want you to do. This is where we're going. If you do that, you're going to have a tremendous year. And I pray that you're going to have a tremendous tremendous year, because if you have a tremendous year, then the world will be better off because of it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming.